Okay, today we're going to work on dividing fractions. But to divide fractions, we have to use what's called a reciprocal of the second fraction. So to divide, use the reciprocal of the second fraction. Okay, a reciprocal, you might ask. What is the reciprocal? Well, a reciprocal, if we have 4/3, the reciprocal is 3/4. We take our numerator and denominator and flip it. So a reciprocal is when we flip the numerator and denominator. Okay, so we're going to just flip-flop them to get our new fraction. And when a fraction is multiplied by its reciprocal, the product is always 1. So if we have 3/4 times its reciprocal, we flip the numerator and denominator to 4/3. 3 times 4 is 12. 4 times 3 is 12, which is equal to 1 whole. Okay, so let's find a couple of reciprocals. If we want the reciprocal of 5/7, we just flip-flop the 5 and the 7, and now we have 7/5. If we want the reciprocal of 1/6, we flip-flop the 6 and the 1, and we get 6/1, which is 6 whole pieces. The reciprocal of 4/8, flip-flop numerator and denominator, we have 8/4. Well, 8 divided by 4 is really 2. Okay, we can still simplify those reciprocals. Reciprocal of 14/3, or 3/14, I'm sorry, is 14/3. Okay, which then we could take and divide. Remember, 14 divided by 3, we can take it and divide. And we can say how many 3 goes into 14 4 times. Right? And our leftovers, when we subtract, is 2. So 2/3. So 14/3 is 4 2/3. We can take that reciprocal and make it into a mixed number. The reciprocal of 1/8 is equal to 8/1, right? Which is 8 whole pieces. Okay? That's the reciprocal. And I shouldn't say equal. Equal is not a good indication. We're just finding the reciprocals, right? So we flip it. It's really not saying 1/8 is equal to 8/1, right? Okay, we just flip-flop it. So if we take 2/5 and we find the reciprocal, that's 5/2, which we could do the long division, and 5 divided by 2 goes 2 times, right? 2 times 2 is 4. Subtract, and we have 1. So we have 1 left out of our 2, our divisor, right? So 5/2 is 2.5. Now, we want to know about reciprocals because if you turn the page to page 32, now we can divide fractions, okay? Because we worked on multiplying fractions, but in order to divide fractions, we have to multiply by the reciprocal to get the answer. So we take the reciprocal of the second fraction. Okay? So of the second fraction, we flip our second fraction and multiply. So we're going to flip the second fraction to the reciprocal, and we flip from dividing to multiplying. Okay, so if we have 7/8 divided by 1/4, we take it and we're going to flip the 1/4 to 4/1, and we flip division to multiplying. Okay, we can't flip that symbol though unless we found the reciprocal. Then we multiply just like we always have, right? We say 7 times 4 is 28. 8 times 1 is 8. So now we have 28 eighths. And now I can take 28 eighths, 28 divided by 8. How many eighths go into a 2? 0. How many eighths into a 28? We get 3. 3 times 8 is 24. 28 take away 24 is 4. And I have 4 left out of 8. Ooh, 4 out of 8 is the same as 3 wholes and 1/2, because I can simplify and divide my numerator and denominator by 4. Okay, here they showed us a picture of it. If we have 7/8 of a pie and we want to divide it by a fourth, that means we are taking that pie, dividing it by 4s, which means we're going to take that pie and actually take the 7/8 and multiply it by 4. And that would get us 3 wholes and another half. Okay, let's try a couple. This is a little tricky, but let's try it. Okay, if we have 1/2 and we divide by 3/8, well, that's the same as taking 1/2, flipping it to multiplication, because we're going to flip our second fraction to 8/3. Remember, we're going to flip my numerator and denominator, find the reciprocal. Okay, and if I flip it to 8/3, now I have 1 times 8, right? 1 times 8 is my numerator, 2 times 3 is my denominator. 1 times 8 is 8, 2 times 3 is 6. So I have 8/6. Well, let's simplify it. 8 divided by 6. 6 can go into 8 once. 1 times 6 is 6. Subtract 8, take away 6 is 2. And I have 2 out of 6 left. Okay, I can simplify 2/6. Divide them both by 2 and I get 1/3. So I have 1 whole and 1/3 more. Okay, always want to simplify. Okay, simplify your answer. Let's look at the next one. 2/3 divided by 4/9. So I have 2/3. Okay, we keep that. I'm going to flip my division to multiplication, and my second fraction I have to take the reciprocal. So 4/9 becomes 9/4. Now I multiply 2 times 9. 2 times 9 is 18. 3 times 4. 3 times 4 is 12. Can I simplify it? Yes, right? I can do the division and simplify after, or I could simplify it first. What does an 18 and a 12 have in common? Well, they both have a 6. I can divide them both by 6. 18 divided by 6 is 3. 12 divided by 6 is 2. Ooh, 3 halves. Okay, well, let's see here. 3 divided by 2. 2 can go into 3 once. 1 times 2 is 2. Subtract 3, take away 2. I get 1, and I have 1 left out of 2. So 3 halves is equal to 1 and 1/2. Okay, let's try another one. Let's try number 5. Okay, 1/2 divided by 9/16. To divide this, I take 1/2, flip division to multiplication, and my reciprocal of my second fraction. So now I have times 16/9. Well, 1 times 16 is 16. 2 times 9 is 18. Can I simplify that? Sure, I can divide them both by 2. If I divide them both by 2, 16 divided by 2 is 8. 18 divided by 2 is 9, so I get 8/9. Okay, now I can also, if we look at page 33, I can also divide whole numbers. Okay, if I divide whole numbers, I want to do the same thing. To divide whole numbers by a fraction, you have to multiply by the reciprocal. So 5 divided by 1/2 is really 5 wholes divided by that half. I take 5 wholes, 5 firsts, times, I'm going to flip that, right? Division to multiplication, and also flip reciprocals. So times 2 firsts. Well, 5 firsts times 2 firsts is 10 firsts, which is just 10 wholes. Okay, let's try a couple. 4 divided by 2/3. That's the same as 4 times, flip the reciprocal, right? 3 halves. Well, 4 is really 4 whole pieces, so it's 4 over 1. And now 4 times 3 is 12. 1 times 2 is 2. 12 halves. Well, 12 divided by 2 is 6, right? 6 whole pieces. Let's try the next one. 7 divided by 1/2. Okay, so I have 7. Flip it to multiplication. Find my reciprocal of the second fraction. Instead of 1/2, I now have 2 over 1. And my 7 is over 1. So 7 times 2 is 14. 1 times 1 is 1. 14 firsts is just 14. Okay. Let's try another one. Let's look at number 5. Okay. 3 divided by 3/4. Keep my 3. Flip it to multiplication. Put my 3 over 1 because I want them both to be a fraction. I multiply and now I flip my reciprocal. 3/4 becomes 4/3. Okay. And now 3 times 4 is 12. 1 times 3 is 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Okay. What I would like you to do, I want you to try 2 of these today for me. Okay. Remember, to divide, you have to flip the reciprocal of the second problem, and you also need to change division to multiplication. So let's try 2. Let's do number 8 on page 32 and number 7 on page 33. I want you to do them on line paper. So you're going to write 4/9 divided by 3/5. Okay, that's my first one. Remember, you're going to take 4/9, multiply instead of divide, and flip your reciprocal. Multiply your numerators, multiply your denominators. Okay. Then the second problem is 6 divided by 1/2. Again, 6 divided by 1/2. You're going to multiply instead of divide, flip your reciprocal. Okay. Do those 2 problems on line paper and turn it in the basket.